Hello everybody and welcome to Access. I'm Nathan, I'm here with Hollie.
Hey!
And here happens to be a French chateau in the countryside.
It's sunny.
I still don't even know why we're here. It's very sunny. I'm sorry if it's a bit washed out on the camera. The clouds are coming overhead. They're making it quite difficult to film. But look how nice it is. Look what's behind us. It's the Chateau de Chalane.
You know how pale I am. I can't be outside very long, Nathan,
We're going to do this quick, otherwise we're going to be just ash. But we're here to see Final Fantasy XIV something.
Okay, I'll take over from here.
Good.
Right.
I had to intro because now it's Hollie's going to tell you about this game.
So before we start, we'll caveat this with Nathan has never played Final Fantasy XIV before.
No.
I, on the other hand, am an eye level 110 warrior. So I'm a massive Final Fantasy fan, and today we've been seeing Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward, which is the first expansion to come out for the game.
Yes.
I wrote 9, maybe 10 pages of notes.
Okay.
That I have now put into
Get ready, guys.
Useful bits of information. So if you are excited for Heavensward, this video is basically going to give you everything you need to know about what the next expansion is going to include, all the little tidbits, and there's some really fun bits of information as well. So
that's the title. Let's do it.
Okay, right. To start with, now if you already have Final Fantasy A Realm Reborn, you'll be able to buy this separately. But if you're watching this and thinking, oh, I've put off buying Realm Reborn, you can buy both together. So you can buy them as a combined game.
Are we talking about PS3 or PS4?
This is PS3 and PS4.
Okay.
And everyone plays together. So if you're on PS3, PS4 or PC,
Yep.
everybody does play together on the same servers, which is really nice. So if you've joined a group of people, we call them free companies, you probably call them guilds in other MMOs, you all play together. So if you are already a player, you'll be pleased to know that the EU data centres are happening. They are actually purchasing them right now. So we will be getting EU data centres. So no more lag.
There's a man.
The struggle is real, Nathan. You don't understand what it's like.
Sounds bad though.
You don't understand what it's like in Titan Extreme.
Right.
When you swear to God you were not in that AoE and you still get knocked off.
Okay, no, I can understand exactly what that is like.
And hopefully there'll be no more of that when we get our EU servers.
That's 2015, right? That's what they pegged it as?
They've said it will be this year. And they're buying them right now. The level cap increases. So we're all level 50 at the moment, and we'll be going to level 60. And we'll be getting 3 new job classes, and all of these will commence from level 30 onwards. So if you're already level 50 in something, you can go get them straight away. But otherwise, you'll need to work up to at least level 30 if it's your first time playing, and then you'll be able to select them as jobs. There are new quests. So if you're already level 50, like me, I'm level 100. Well, I'm level 50, but I level 110. That means my items are really good, Nathan.
Right, of course.
It means I have good armour.
Right.
Anyway, there are new quests for us at level 50 to help us get to level 60. So you won't just be grinding to get to level 60. There'll be some nice quests you can do. And they do reckon there's about 50 hours for the main story alone in Heavensward. So that's not like all the other stuff, the fates and the dungeons. That's just main story is 50 hours. That's like
That's a big chunk. That's a proper.
That's like
that's
full
a proper
RPG.
Game. Yeah, that's big.
So each new job now has new animations and new skills. So warriors, we finally get something called Equilibrium, which allows us to heal 5,000 HP, which is a pretty hefty chunk. And for the lovely little warriors, we're so dependent on our healers that now we can at least have a pop at it ourselves. It does have a pretty extreme cooldown. So
is it self-heal only?
Self-heal only, but sometimes you've got to be a bit selfish, Nathan.
Yeah, that's true in the heat of battle. Well, you're being selfish for everyone else.
Yeah,
so
if I die, you're all screwed.
Exactly, everyone's
They
dead.
keep me alive. We also have something called Deliverance, which allows the warrior to pop into a DPS stance. This means a stance for doing damage.
Yep.
Normally tanks, as you know, don't do damage, and we already have a different kind of thing that we can be in that reduces our attack, but pushes up our defense. Now we can drop that, go into this, and we can be DPS, which is nice. Of course, then, we have got the 3 new classes. There's Dark Knight, who is a tank, and he can use a great sword. It's a two-handed, one massive sword, and that's mixed with like dark magic. Like every move is called dark something.
Dark Flash.
Dark Flash.
Dark Strike.
Yeah, it's pretty much that.
Dark Headbutt.
But you do this one move where you get to like kick. You literally kick. You like, I've got this massive sword, so I'm going to kick you. It's really cool. You then go to Astrolarian, which is the new healer class. Now, this is a mix of using a device called a Star Globe, which is a really beautiful magical device, and using divine cards. Now, there are 6 cards, and what will happen in battle is you get 3 kind of options when you draw them. You can use it there and then. You can reshuffle if you don't like it, and if you reshuffle, you will not get it again. And then you can save it, which means you're not ready to use it just yet, but you might later on in the battle. So it's really, really tactical. Lots of buffs.
Yeah.
The other final new class is Machinist. This is the DPS class. This is the damage class. Now, this guy uses guns and turrets, and the turrets act a bit like the summons that are already in the game. So it's kind of an area. You don't go in and hit it like the monk does, but it's got a real nice kind of steampunk vibe to it.
Yeah, I like the drawings. It was one of the few things I could understand.
Next up is limit breaks. So there's new animations. So for example, on limit break 1 for the Bard finally has a DPS limit break, and it looks really cool that they charge up a giant crossbow and let it go. So you can experiment with some of the new limit break animations as well. Moving on, you have Disciple of the Hand and Disciple of the Land. So these are your crafters. These are your people that either make gear or go off and gather the ingredients for them. So Disciple of the Hand, level 55, you can now specialize, and you can change your specialization using something called scripts. Disciple of the Land, you have new maps, new gathering spots, new fishing spots in all the new areas, and you can find something called divine favors, so really rare stuff, by trading in scripts. Now, you can get scripts by trading in rare items with Rowena at her House of Splendors in Mordona, so keep that in mind. Now, one of the biggest things we've all been super excited for is, of course, the flying mounts. Now, today we got to use the Griffin, the Black Chocobo, and the Fat Chocobo.
That thing was cruel.
It was amazing.
Like barely getting off the ground, struggling to reach for its cake.
Yeah, it has cake now, guys. So your normal Fat Chocobos use the lettuce, and this time you still kind of got the lettuce, but you're enticing it into the sky with cake.
I guess the cake is what makes them fly.
The cake is what made it fat, Nathan. That's why it's a Fat
That is
Chocobo.
also true, yeah.
But the great thing about these is when you're flying, you're actually 2 times faster than if you were to just ride on the ground. But the moment you land your flying mount, it goes back to being the same speed as a normal mount. But you can take off absolutely anywhere. You simply hold the jump button and off into the air you go.
You fly like a helicopter as well. You have full control over all the axes.
It's really cool. You just sort of fly around wherever you want. However, the 2.0 areas, so for example, Gridania, you cannot fly in these areas. And the devs have said they might look into it, but there's no plans at the moment to make the Realm Reborn areas fly-worthy. Just because when you guys see it for the first time, you'll understand the verticality in Gridania just isn't there, but they've built that into the new worlds.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. And I got to use the word verticality.
Verticality.
Which I'm not sure is a real word. So you guys can now build airships as well. Now, this will take place in your free company house, and you build it in 4 different sections. It's completely customizable, but they have promised that buying the workshop isn't going to be that expensive, or as they said, crippling.
Right.
Now, everyone who does play Final Fantasy just only has to look at the price of a house to tell you that it can be pretty crippling. They haven't told me how much gil it costs. They've promised it won't cripple me.
Is the idea that this is like your free company house but movable, but mobile? Is it something you'd own together, or is it just going to be yours?
It is something I think you can own them together. I'm trying to get the devs to clarify for me, but they're just kind of shrugging their shoulders and winking, which isn't really helping. But the great thing about them is that you can make different types. So if you wanted to make one for speed, you can make it to be super fast, but it might use more fuel, for example.
And then be more expensive to run.
Exactly. So you kind of have to think about the kind of airship you want to build. But we did have a look at some of the ingredients you need, some of the materials, and yeah, there's stuff I've never heard of. So I can only assume that's maybe some of the divine stuff that the Disciples of the Land will have to go and find for you. So if you don't have a botanist friend, I suggest you get one. The great thing as well, there's also new furniture and new fixtures for your FC house. So if you wanted some new windows, you're in luck, because there'll be some new stuff. Now, of course, it isn't just about making airships. You have to actually fight stuff. So there's going to be new high-level leave quests, fates, enemies, and elite marks. So these are the hunts we kind of do. So you get as a daily one, and there's some weekly ones. And if these happen to pop because they're random anywhere in the world, literally the whole FC just sort of gets up, stops whatever they're doing, just sort of runs to the location. Awesome. It's quite cool. There's also new Primals. We've got Rowena, who is a completely new character. She's never ever been in Final Fantasy before. And the Bismarck, which is making a return. And these will come with both normal mode and hard mode dungeons. So if you think you're good, go and do hard mode and see how you feel.
Watch you do hard mode.
You can watch me do hard mode. I get pretty angry. Also, for those of you who enjoy PvP, there's new Frontline Arenas with new rules. So, for example, this time you'll have random spawning points. So it won't always be equal distance apart like you're used to in PvP. For those of you who enjoy raiding, so you're doing your Binding Coil of Bahamut, you have Alexandra. That is coming in, which is just looks incredible. You can fight in different parts. So one fight might be in the legs, one might be in the chest. You will only get one drop, but you can go back and help others through. So if you've got a free company that aren't quite there yet, don't worry. You can go back and help some of the new people through a bit later on. This will also come with a savage mode.
Is that worse than hard? I'm guessing.
I'm assuming it's worse than extreme. And we tend to go normal, hard mode, extreme, and then savage just sounds like no.
No, it sounds like
it just sounds like a big no.
No.
But Savage Mode will be available. Now, if you guys are really excited for your new raids, Alexandra comes in 2 weeks after this expansion pack launches, and the Savage Mode comes in another 2 weeks after that. This is just to help kind of pace how busy the servers are going to be. So your new raids are 2 weeks after. There's also a new loot system. You play Destiny.
See, now this I did understand, and this sounded pretty good to me.
You understand the pain of running something.
Yeah.
And your gear just never.
Where's my Galahorn, goddammit?
Give me my Galahorn. I thought it was Icebreaker that everyone wanted in Destiny.
Oh, I've got Icebreaker.
You've got Icebreaker. So if you're running and you're just never getting anything, what you'll get now is tokens, and eventually you can gather enough tokens and trade these in for your item instead. So there's a way to earn it. So if you're running it and you're on your 105th turn and you still don't have your damn weapon, you can now get tokens instead.
It's funny, isn't it? Because it takes some of the magic out of getting it in the drop, but at the same time, I guess the key is going to be how many tokens you need to get the thing. So it still seems like something you're going to be proud of.
Exactly. You've still put work in. Probably more so than that lucky person that got it on their first
I think
run.
anyone who's run something 30 or 40 times, you're kind of like, I'm ready for that person just to have whatever they want now.
Yeah, but there is a new way to manage loot with the Loot Master system. So one of your party members can be assigned as the Loot Master.
I like that title.
Which I think is amazing. And it's actually their job then to hand the loot out. So instead of needing or greeting, like we do in Final Fantasy, yes, you are specifically going to hand it out to the right people.
And there's rules as well that he can set at the beginning, which the various ways of determining it. So everyone knows what they're getting into at the start, I guess, is the important thing.
Exactly. So maybe when you're pony farming, and again, Final Fantasy players know what this means. Basically, you can get these.
You're making this stuff up now.
I'm not. There are these really cool ponies that you can get from kind of running the extreme primals like Ifrit.
Okay.
And they're really rare drops, but basically if you have one, it's an automatic I'm a badass kind of sign. So everyone wants ponies, and people literally band together with random other people and just continuously run.
Just pony farming.
Pony farming. So that can help with that. You can also do a greed-only system, so you're no longer able to need anything. And a bidding system. So something comes up, you will bid for it. The person who pays the most gets it, and whatever they pay, the guilt is split between the other people in the party.
See, I like that. That was my favourite one.
It means you don't. You never truly leave empty-handed. But it sounds like all these can be set before you go in, so it's you can decide what's best for you guys. There's also some changes to the duty finder. You can run with smaller parties. So, for example, if you want to do 7 people instead of 8, you can do that. You also can now sync to the lowest level. So what tends to happen if you're quite new, you might be quite low level and all your really high level friends might pull you through the dungeon.
Right, okay.
Yeah, now you can change it so everyone will sync down to the lowest person, which really can make things quite tricky. There'll also be some new roulette types and conditions. And yes, there will be new triple triad cards as well to find in dungeons and with bosses.
Thank God.
We don't joke about triple triad.
Sorry, I had no idea.
It's very serious.
Yeah, I should have understood that. I'm sorry.
Moving swiftly along, there are going to be 8 new dungeons, with more coming in future updates. I have played one of them, and we did pretty well.
So you do that. Was that which? You played 2, right?
Yeah, we played 2. So the one that I think was my favourite, we did the best on, which we did all the bosses, was the library, which is a level 56 dungeon. Any of you who remember Ampador Keep, I really hope you enjoyed the Demon Wall. There's something very similar coming back. But it was beautiful. It had like light jazz as the music.
See, I didn't hear it. Was that the one where you were fighting the dinosaur? Or the huge thing with wings?
The dinosaur was something else.
Okay. Sorry.
And the huge thing with wings was back in the library. But there's some lovely dungeons, and they're really different. One of them was like a giant cathedral. It was sort of bathed in sort of a sunset, so everything was really orange and red, and it was really beautiful. Moving on, the areas. So we know that with this game there comes some new areas for you to explore. These are 50 to 100% bigger than the areas in 2.0. So, potentially 100% bigger than Gridania, which is just... We all know that's absolutely enormous. So I went to the Croesus Western Highlands, which is very much like the Central Highlands. It's very snowy, but because you can fly here, beautiful ice cliffs and mountains, it has a real depth to it, but it's still that really desolate, snowy wasteland. It was really beautiful.
The new areas looked amazing. There was obviously one area of the game which I didn't need to have played the game to appreciate. No, and they looked. There's something about flying through areas when you first see them, and like when you're presented with a new sort of vista. They all looked amazing. That was
really
my favourite bit
beautiful.
of today.
The other one we checked out was Sea of Clouds, which is very villagey. It was very green, lots of vegetation, very beautiful when the sun came through the rocks, because it was very levelled with beautiful rock plateaus that you could land on, and it was a real kind of awful as it sounds to say PS4 share button moment.
Oh man!
Where you're like, I just get that with the
thing,
light coming through. Anyway, I will end it with probably my favourite thing of all.
Okay, I thought we've already done the Chocobo.
No, this one, there's a new emote.
Right.
It's /brofist.
Oh my god.
You can now brofist, which is incredible.
And then share it. So sharing bromant.
It's amazing. What we haven't seen yet, we had no Lalafels today when we were playing. So you guys who understand what I'm saying now will appreciate. I'm not sure how you brofist a Lalafell. Do we get down on one knee or do we just punch it in the head? I guess. We'll figure it out. But yeah, you can /brofist.
I can't wait.
And I'll leave it there. Guys, I know if you are looking forward to Heavensward, we have just listed off a whole bunch of things. If you're quite new to Final Fantasy and would like us to do more of a beginner's guide, do let us know in the comments below and we can have a look at doing a kind of maybe 6 reasons you should play Final Fantasy XIV.
We'll get Rob involved. Yeah, he can see. Rob's
not even level 30.
It's because he doesn't play well with others.
No,
That's
he
the problem
doesn't.
with Rob.
There you guys, thank you so much for listening. I know it was an awful lot to take on board, so if you have any questions, leave them below and I will do my very best to answer. Take care.